Bava Metzia DAF YOMI, sponsored the Refuah Shalema for Rus Bas Bashka. The first inyan is a carryover from the previous Amud, discusses one conveying a gift of an object thrown through a house. The Gemara established earlier, one can convey a gift, such as a running deer, by placing it in one's field, even if the owner cannot catch it before it runs out. The Gemara distinguishes between that case from the object thrown through the house, because the deer at least touches the ground. Now we come to a new Mishnah, which discusses lost objects found by different people. Number one, the minor daughter. According to Rashi, they belong to the father based on the verse in the Torah, Binureha Beis Avia. If she is in her father's house as a Nara, she is certainly there as a Ketana. What about the minor son? There also the Mishnah says it belongs to his father. Although, by way of Torah law, a minor cannot acquire, the Chachamim gave him rights of acquisition so that people would not attempt to take away from him whatever he picks up. Since he immediately brings it to his father, he indicates that his intent was to pick it up for him. Shmuel, he learns, the Gemara brings a statement of Shmuel, that the halacha follows Rabbi Yossi. He holds that even where a father is a sharecropper who is not entitled to collect leket from the field he is working, his son can follow behind him to collect. Now, if the son has no independent power of acquisition, it would be as if the father is collecting himself. Therefore, Rabbi Yossi disagrees with our Mishnah. He holds that the minor son can keep the lost object. Abaya, however, based on another Mishnah that says the lost object of a katan that one takes from him, according to Rabbi Yossi, is gezel gomor midrabanan, not midoraisa, he explains that even Rabbi Yossi agrees that a minor has no power of acquisition from the Torah. However, the Chachamim permitted the son to collect leket behind his father because they compared him to nemushos. These were the old and weak, who when collecting leket meticulously searched the field. No aniyim would bother collecting there after assuming all was found. The same is true by the son who collects after his father. Even though he is technically not permitted to collect, since it is like the father collecting, the poor assumed he would collect anyway, so he would not bother searching the field. Rava disagrees with Abaye. He says the Chachamim would never permit the son to collect at the expense of other poor people. The permit is based on a consensus of all the poor to allow their sons to collect behind them as well. Rav Chia bar Abba, on the other hand, he interprets the Mishnah, our Mishnah, differently than Shmuel. Shmuel distinguishes between a katan and a gadol chronologically. He interprets it according to one the father supports. If he is still supported by the father, then the lost object belongs to the father. If not, it belongs to the son. Concerning the wife, the Chachamim instituted that her fines belong to her husband to enhance shalom bayis. Regarding Canaanite slaves, a Canaanite slave fines belongs to his master because, based on the rule, Mashakavet kana eved kana rabbo. Jewish slaves, Rabbi Yochanan holds a Jewish slave's lost object belongs to the slave. Even though we learn a worker who is hired for non-specific tasks must give his fines to his employer, this case is different. Rabbi Yochanan explains because the slave does highly skilled labor that generally any fine would not be worth his time. The case was an exception not considered by his employer. He therefore never intended his slave to acquire for him. Rava answers differently. He simply says he picked it up while engaged in his work. Reb Papa explains that it only belongs to the master if he hires him to collect lost objects. Our Mishnah deals with a case where he was hired for other tasks. Regarding maidservants, the Mishnah refers to where the father is still living. When it says it is hers, it means it is not her master's, but she acquires it on behalf of her father. A divorcee, the Mishnah explains that it refers to a woman who is questionably divorced. Even though the husband is required to continue supporting her until she is completely divorced, she can keep her fines, since the reason the husband was given the rights to them is to prevent him from resenting her. In this case, the resentment between them already exists.